Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're just going to do another Velocity Banking review. Two in one day. So I'm really sleepy right now, but you know what? I'm just a Velocity Banking addict, just like all of you, right? So this is just me serving another dose of Velocity Banking banking crack. And why do we call it Velocity Banking crack? Because so many of you are addicted just to watching these spreadsheets. I never would have imagined before I started this YouTube channel that so many of you would be addicted. And if you don't believe me, I mean, take a look here. This is the YouTube lifetime statistics, and we have over 58,000 watch hours, and I've already made over $5,000 in revenue, right? Just ad revenue, okay? So 58,000. If you ever just do the math, right? Let's just kind of quickly do the math. That's 58,000 divided by 24 hours will tell you the number of days. So that's 2,416 days. And then you divide it by 365 to kind of tell you that the number of years watched, and it's 6.6 years watched of people doing spreadsheets or me doing a spreadsheet. I literally just kind of make the same video over and over again. So because you're all so addicted and I want to serve the people, right? That's why I'm giving another dose of this, what we call the velocity banking crack. In fact, this is self-proclaimed, but this is the number one velocity banking crack dealership. Okay, all right. So before we get started, I just kind of want to show you some insight. And there's some really interesting things going on when you take a look at Google Analytics. So, if you take a look at traffic source, actually geography, let me see geography, right? The US is the number one place that has the most interest in velocity banking. And I've shown this before, but for some reason, the top three states that want to learn this stuff is California, Texas, and Florida. California, Texas, and Florida. And what's also interesting is that there are more men who watch this content than females, but females actually reach out to me. So you see how it says 34.9% females watching the channel, yet and 65.1% male, yet more females reach out to me than males. That's really interesting. Okay. And then even more interesting, okay. Let me just kind of show you here I think it's the playback, no, the device type, right? It's expected that most of you would watch from a mobile phone because obviously everybody has a mobile device, but number 2 is TV. Number 2 is TV, so I'm very surprised that so many of you watch these spreadsheets on your TV rather than a computer, right? And, YouTube actually came out with a news article, or they announced that TV is actually the number 1 device used to watch YouTube. I don't know if you knew that or not. Let me just do this right here. YouTube TV is number 1 device for watching. And then we just take a look here. Yeah, yeah, the CEOs like TVs are now used to watch YouTube, which is really surprising. Okay. But yes, I never thought that people will watch like spreadsheets on TV. That's like unexpected. So people are doing it. And then let me just kind of go here and let's just go to the operating system. Apple, I don't have any Apple, Android, and then Windows, and I don't even know how you watch on Roku. I guess you're all watching Roku with the TV and the Amazon Fire OS and the smart TV. I don't have a Macintosh. What's Web OS? Apple TV OS, and look at you, some of you watching on the PlayStation and Xbox. How'd y'all find me on the PlayStation and Xbox? Nintendo Switch. That's probably me because I got a Nintendo Switch. What is a Kai OS? Okay. Well, my point is this, that I'm serving many, many demographics with the crack. So I'm going to serve it up one more time before I go to sleep. So let's serve it up. Let's start. Let's give an introduction of what is velocity banking to all of the people, and dedicate to all the people who have been consuming the addictive content of debt payoff with a spreadsheet. 6.6 years watched. All right. So what is velocity banking? All it is throwing all of your money into debt with the help of a line of credit, right? And what is a line of credit? All it is a financial tool where you could borrow money, pay it back, and then use it over and over again. Oh, you know what? This is a picture of Velocity Banking Crack by Meta AI, and this one's the Kool-Aid. So the other thing we got is they say don't drink the Kool-Aid. Well, you can drink this one because this is a Velocity Banking Kool-Aid. And Velocity Banking Crack, look, he's so happy. Probably because he's paid off his debt, right? Anyways, what's a line of credit? All it is a financial tool where you could borrow money, pay it back, and then use it over and over again. So you can see right here, $280,000 line of credit, 280,000, right? So this is my home equity line of credit. I offered the bank my home equity as collateral, and they said, "Here, kind of have like a huge credit card like device so that you can use it to pay whatever you want and borrow at a 7.5% interest rate," which is what I'm doing. Okay. So that's what I'm doing here. And I have almost up to $600,000 in lines of credit. So think of it as like $600,000 in credit cards, but not exactly, right? The difference between a credit card and, your other types of lines of credit is that credit cards are a little restrictive, right? You can't use it to pay for anything. But with the line of credit, I can use it to buy pretty much anything. I can use it to buy, pay for my student loans, pay for a mortgage, pay for whatever. But you have other credit cards, right? Can't do that with the credit card, and I don't save any money. So here's like the secret sauce to all this. Number one is you don't save money. So you see the savings right here. You see how we're a little bit in the negative in the savings, right? What we do is we just don't save money. I was like, how's that possible to go from negative to zero? Well, it's the same thing if we're positive too. We're not going to save money. And the important thing is that we're going to assume we have the same expenses, right? So if we take a look at the expense breakdown right here, take a look at this expense breakdown, and then you see all of these debts, right? All of these debts right here. You list every single one of them because this is a debt payoff strategy. And then in this little row right here, very last line, you just combine your general expenses. Do an estimate, right? If you think you spend $700 a month, put 700. If it's $2,200 a month, you put 2,200, right? All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and do this. So we're going to have something called cash flow instead of savings. And simply by shuffling some debt without increasing our income, we can make this explode. Well, not explode. We can make it, I don't even know what the right word is. I'm so sleepy. But we can make it multiply. Like go from negative to a factor of positive by infinity, okay? So now this is what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and assume we have a $200,000 line of credit. Now, as a person who has almost up to $600,000 in lines of total limits and lines of credit, I want to tell you the secret to this. And I say this a lot, and people ask things like, "How do I get a line of credit?" And I'm like, buddy, you kind of think of your line of credit as like an insurance policy, meaning you don't crash your car and then ask, "How do I get car insurance?" You get the car insurance first and then you drive the car. So what do I mean by that? Is that too many people try to get lines of credit when they need money, and banks don't lend money to people who need it. So you got to get the line of credit before you ever need it, right? So that's why I have over 600, well, not over 600, almost $600,000 in lines of credit because I got the money when I did not need it. Every day I wake up and I just kind of do a pulse check and I say, "Hey, do I need money?" If the answer is yes, I definitely don't apply for credit, right? But if the answer is no, I'll apply. And two-thirds of the time I get rejected, right? I get rejected from my line increases, applications, and then I just keep trying. And then eventually it went up to 600,000, right? That's how it works. All right. So let's go ahead and move this credit card debt. This is $100,000 of credit card debt into the line of credit. Okay, $100,000. And guess what happens when we move this $100,000 into the line of credit? $200,000 limit, 8%. Oh my goodness, look at this. We literally went from negative $49 to $3,325.80. This is where the crack addiction happens. Every time I see this, I'm blown away, right? How do you go from negative to positive without making more money. And the difference, I'm going to tell you the main difference between the average American and the Velocity Banker. The main difference is that you're making your line of credit as your main operating account. See, what the average American does is pay for things with the checking account and leave the leftover in savings. But in this case, we don't even have anything left over in savings, right? Whereas with the Velocity Banker, we move some debt into the line of credit. We put the entire paycheck, 7,500. Again, we're not saving money. Saving money is for suckers, right? You take a look at this. I don't save money. $7,500 into here, $100,000 balance, take your expenses out, 4,100, and then after every single month, the balance of the line of credit will go down $3,325.87. Can I get a crack? No, that's actually that's pretty bad. Don't say that. Sometimes I say, "Hey, can I get what am I even saying? I was like, "Tell me you wanna be part of the cult," and then I got people saying they wanna be part of this cult. Now I'm a crack dealer, and now, I'm so sleepy. I've never taken crack in my life, even though it seems like I'm delirious, but I'm actually telling you the truth. Never taken crack in my life. Although, once upon a time, I did read a story about a journalist named Gary North who documented that the federal government was selling crack cocaine in the streets of Los Angeles in the 1980s to something about funding a war in Nicaragua and the Contras and Iran. I got to read up on that again, but that was very interesting. Anyways, all right, so let's go ahead and do this. All right, so now let's do this. So to get the next month's balance based on these two previous month's balance and interest minus our cash flow, 3325.87. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the average daily balance, right? That's how the interest is calculated in a line of credit, 0.08, and then you divide by 12, right? 8%. That's annual. You divide by 12, you get the monthly interest. And then wablam, borrowed 90 grand and we have to pay $655 of interest. So let's go ahead and do it. Yeah. And then we see that in 34 months, all this $100,000 credit card debt was paid off. You see that? Ooh, okay. All right. That's where addicts are made. All right. So now it's 100K, 34 months. And then we do this. And then now, okay, we go to our loan calculator. Let's go to our loan calculator right here. And I'm going to do this. All right. And so now we just got to put in the current month. Right. And y'all know the drill, right? We use the cash flow index to help us determine which loans to pay off because it's the easiest way to figure it out. And I started love using the cash flow index when random people would send me their debts and there was like more than like 20 debts on the spreadsheet. I was like, I can't figure this out. It's like, I know cash flow index. Okay. All it is the balance divided by the payment and it's a ratio. So it's like the lower the number, that's the one you want to pay off because you get more bang for your buck in terms of cash flow. Pay off the 9 grand in order to get about $400 rather than 27 grand to get $400, right? Regardless of the interest rate, ignore it. That's what Garrett Gunderson said. He the one who came up with it. All right, so I'll go ahead and do that, and I'm gonna move 9 grand into the line of credit. Let's go ahead and do that. Nine. Whoopsie. Let's go ahead and move the 9 grand plus 9616.67 into the line of credit. And how much is our cash flow increase? By almost $400. So this is now zero. Okay. And then now look at this $3,712.61 is the new cash flow. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Are you surprised how quickly we're paying off the debt? Because I bet you that when you explain this to other people, they won't even pay attention because they're so preoccupied with their lives and they want to be part of the matrix. I mean, think about how I feel when I tell other people I paid off my mortgage in 2 years and 9 months. Do you think people will do like, whoa, how'd you do that? Or be like ignoring me and pretend like they didn't hear me? I don't know. Did you decide, but I'm just saying that too many people don't want to be addicted to the velocity banking crack. They just rather ignore it. Anyways, so let's go to the student loan and let's go ahead and pay that off. So we are at what month are we at? I don't even know. We're at month 37. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. So this is going to be 121K in 37 months. Whoa. And then now let's do the student loan. So at 37 months, what's the balance of that student loan? So it's 26 grand. All right, let's get rid of that sucker. Let's get rid of that student loan. All right, let's do this. And this is going to be plus 26676.3. Okay, and then now what's our new cash flow? Let's go ahead and go all the way up here. And then the student loan, this $400 is now back into our cash flow. And then here, our cash flow is about 4 grand. Whoa, we're pretty balling. And I mean, we don't even need to pay off our mortgage if we don't want to. So this is going to be 4118.99. And then we're going to pay this sucker off. And then in 43 months, it is all paid off. 43 months. All right. So now it's 121 plus 35, 156K. And then this is going to be 37 plus 34. No, what did I do? I screwed up. 156K. And then this is going to be 43 months, right? So let me just do this right here, comma, 43 months. And then you know what? You could be like, well, you know what? I got so much cash flow. Now is the time to invest in real estate. Okay. Because you know what? One of the rules that I have for rental real estate is that you don't ever want to depend on a tenant's income, right? Because a lot of times people get themselves into trouble because they need the tenant's money and the tenant can sense that. And I don't know what it is about human beings in general, but when people feel like you need their money, they don't want to give it to you. It's sad, right? You know, I love paying other people. I love when people do work for me. I'm not gonna lie. But when people don't want to pay, you ain't gonna stay. You gotta kick them out. And that's why you gotta do rental real estate in a position of strength. Now, did you know the average cash flow on a rental property, right? Actually, I don't know if this is even average, but let me just do this. Bigger pockets, good cash flow. Okay. Uh is only a couple $100 a month. Couple $100 a month. Okay. Couple hundred. See that? Couple hundred. Now, if you have a $200,000 loan and you're only making a couple $100 a month, I mean, is it really worth it? Might as well go spend the $200,000 and go to med school or law school, right? There you're going to get your ROI. But with this real estate thing, because people don't know what they don't know, they're struggling. Okay. Now, here's the number one rule, or maybe the number two, because I said number one is just don't depend on tense money. I'll say number one rule, the top of the top rule is you gotta buy it at a discount, right? That's where the wealth is made. So you see this $300,000 house, buy it for 200, right? Buy it cheaper than I did, right? You gotta find a distress sell. You gotta help them out. You gotta negotiate a discount. And then on day one, you ever hear the saying like, hey, you make money on the buy when it comes to real estate? Well, that's what you gotta do. You gotta buy it at a discount. My next goal is that, hey, if I see a $300,000 property, hopefully I can get it for all in for 150 or 100. That would be pretty effing sweet, right? But because I'm a noob, I only got it for 210. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and buy a property. Correct. Okay. This is the other side of the crack equation is buying rentals and not dealing with this pathetic 150 to $300 a month cash flow, right? Like who wants to deal with that? And that's why there are tired landlords, right? You know that's a thing where you reach out to tired landlords and it's like, "Oh, F this." Get my $200,000 loan for 100, $300 a month and then, cash flow, real estate cash flow, that's a lie. Is a lie. Is real estate cash flow a sham? Bigger pockets. Cash flow a myth? the truth about cash flow with rentals, right? So are real estate investors too obsessed with cash flow? That cash flow that doesn't really exist for most people because it's only 100, $300 a month if it's good, right? So this is what we got to do. Did you know that debt and cash flow are like inverses of each other? You have debt, your cash flow is pretty much gone. All right. So what we're going to do is we're gonna try to get rid of all our debt, right? Let's go all in with the $200,000, buying a $300,000 property for $200,000 and getting at a discount, right? Now, make this a rental property, right? And I need to show my checks because I used to have like 15 grand checks that I got from a tenant. I don't even know, and I don't even care where I put them anymore, right? But let's just assume that with this rental property, because again, we're in a good position. If the tenant doesn't even pay us, okay, and actually, let's do this. Let's say the tenant doesn't even pay us, okay. So this would be 4118.99. Okay, I think so. That should be around. Let's just assume the tenant never pays us. Okay, how long approximately would it take to pay off that debt? All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. Whoa, it's gonna take us about, I don't know, maybe like 59 months. So what's 59 divided by 12? So it's gonna take us 5 years just to pay off a rental property if we got a deadbeat tenant. That's amazing. So about 5 years, right? But let's do this. Let's actually collect the rent. Okay, let's actually collect the rent. I'm gonna do this equals, right? Plus, we'll say $2,000 of rent. Your area might differ, right? But let's say $2,000 of rent and 30% goes to our general expenses like taxes, insurance, maintenance, upkeep, vacancies, and we'll say we only get 70% in our revenue, right? And our, I think it's called the NOI, net operating income. And then let's increase that cash flow to 5,000. So let's go ahead and do this. 5518.99. Again, we're using our line of credit, our entire line of credit to go all in, although I don't necessarily recommend using your entire line of credit. In fact, I would just put only a little bit in my line of credit and then just take out a loan, to be honest, so I could preserve some capital. Okay. No need to be like, oh, a loan bad, line of credit good. Okay. But let's go ahead and do this and see how long it takes to pay it off. All right, 42 months. How much is 40? How long is 42 months? Equals 42 divided by 12, 3.5 years. Oh, whoa, rental number one. All right, time payoff, 3.5 years. That's just, have you ever heard of a rental being a property being paid off in 3.5 years? This is this is top tier crack status, right? Paying it off in 3.5 years. I cannot believe it. All right. Now let's go and buy another rental. Okay. We'll just do the exact same thing again. This is our second rental. Again, we're not even dealing with multifamily. People are like, oh, multifamily, much more cash flow. Who cares about that? Single family is easier to resell, right? Um, and plus, that your tenant stays longer. Okay, and you could do more things with it. I think. All right, so let's get two tenants in there. That's why we multiply by two. So what's our cash flow? 6918. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So 6918.99, and then I'm going to go ahead and see how long it takes to pay off the second rental. All right, so it's going to be 33 months, which is less than 3 years. Oh my goodness. So 33 divided by 12, that's 2.75 years. Wow, rental number two, paying off a rental property in 2.75 years. That's like, I don't know, ultimate tier crack status, right? Paying off a rental in 2.75 years. It takes a person, an average person, this amount of time to pay off one car. Yet in this scenario, you paid off two rentals in that amount of time, in about a little bit more than 6 years. Right now, let's get the third rental. Okay, again, you ever watch like real estate media where it's like, um, where they always talk about getting 20 rentals in like a year. Who wants to deal with 20 tenants? Okay. Let's not do that. Let's just get 3 rentals. Now, we do it one more time, right? Let's collect the rent, multiply it by 3. Now it's 3 tenants, and then let's update our cash flow, right? So 8318.99. All right, let's go ahead and do that. And how long will it take for us to pay off the third rental, not the fourth one? The fourth one, if we get a fourth rental, that's like super ultimate tier crack status. 27 months, not bad. All right. 27 months. Let's see how long that takes. 2.25 years. Oh my goodness. Whoa. Ultimate, I'll say super ultimate tier crack status. Aren't you addicted? Aren't you super addicted? I am so addicted to this because it's not a 30-year mortgage. It's not. I mean, 30 years, think about if we just keep continuing this, how many rentals we have if we do this in 30 years, okay? This is the super ultimate tier crack status, and I know you're all addicted just like I am, right? I'm addicted to this velocity baking stuff too. That's why I make these videos over and over again and over and over again. And you know what? I'm gonna say something that might rub you the wrong way, but we gotta get the young people addicted to this crack, okay? You see the age demographics, okay? But look at this 18 to 24. Something's wrong where our young people are not paying off the debt quickly. In fact, they're probably gonna get themselves in a lot of debt, right? Which is sad. Just 20 credit cards. Well, not 20. How many credit cards in college? Maybe they just give you an easy, simple $500 one. But that's what they get you here with the credit cards, but not with the velocity banking, right? They get you with the credit cards though. So they know how to get the young people. But here we are for all of you watching that we're at rental number 3 super ultimate tier crack status. And then what we're going to do is now pay off our home. So let's just do this. Pay off our personal home. 3.5 plus 2.75 plus 2.25, and that's 8.5. And then what's 8.5 times 12? All right. So that's 102 months. We're in this journey. So what we got to do is we got to go right here, and this is now 0, and we left off at 43 months technically. So 43 months is when we paid off the student loan, and we're like, dude, we're gonna invest in real estate. Okay, let's go ahead and invest in that real estate. So now, what we're gonna do is add 43 to 102. So this is gonna be 43 plus 102, and then we have $167,000 in our loan, okay? And usually when there's an interest rate difference between a 30-year mortgage, like and an 8% line of credit, the bigger the difference, we're more likely use the what we call a chunking method, which is just, moving parts of a loan into the line of credit. All right, so let's go ahead and use a velocity banking calculator for this. And let's go ahead and move it here. So that's 167,506.24. 167,506.24. And then what is our income? So we're just going to take a look here. Our income is 11,700, 11700. Okay. Whoa. All right. So how much are we moving to the line of credit? Let's say 12 grand. Okay. 1.6 years. Okay. Now let me just do a quick comparison of moving the entire thing into the line of credit versus paying in chunks. All right. Well, it's not going to be a big deal. We pay about 3 grand more. But let's take a look at this. If I do a 30% credit card, all right, it still beats the first lien HELOC, okay? 9 grand, but let's pay 7. So 1.6 years. All right, so 1.6 years. This is actually a personal home, right? So now it's 1.6 years, and that's gonna be, what do we call it? All right, super ultimate tier crack status. I'll just say super duper ultimate tier crack status when we pay off our home in 1.6 years. And now this goes to 0. And now look at that. Our cash flow is about 10 grand a month. with just about 3 rental houses and a paid off personal home. What are you gonna do with 10 grand a month? Oh my goodness. I don't know what I'm gonna do either. I guess just take on some debt and pay it off quickly, right? And then you can be the GOAT status like me, greatest of all time. Greatest of all time, doing the velocity banking crack, buying the rental home at a discount, and just rinse and repeat over and over again, right? And paying off the mortgage in 2 years and 9 months. Ah, man, I can't even believe it. 2 years and 9 months with the $280,000 line of credit. Ooh, take a look at that. Take a look at that. All right, well, that's it for today, folks. Gotta get the young people addicted to velocity banking because the credit card companies, they go after this demographic the most, and they're gonna be, after a few years, they're gonna be struggling, or possibly appear on the Caleb Hammer show, which I do like watching from time to time. Okay, well, that's it, folks. So hopefully you're all having fun in watching this from your TV, your Roku, your Amazon Fire, and possibly your PlayStation or Xbox. Okay. All right. Well, that's it for today. Have a great day. It's Cranial Anti Mentorship, and I'll see you all on the next video. And don't forget, this is the number one Velocity Banking Crack dealership. Okay? Crack dealership. All right. Good night, everybody.